Welcome back for the final time this week on the Social Club. FA Cup coming up this weekend. Thought it was only right to do this as a big discussion topic. Is the FA Cup still important to teams in the Premier League? I'll start with Flav on this one.
It was the first time probably in my life that we've had a realistic shout at the league. We did it in '87, but I was too young.
Yeah.
But so while the FA Cup is an amazingly glorious competition still to this day, it is important. It's not as important as winning the league, and Tottenham probably can't do both of those things. Okay. If Pochettino prioritised the league over the FA Cup this season, I'd understand it. But that's different from devaluing the competition as Man United have done in the past.
Absolutely, but just not turning up.
Yeah, just like rubbish.
Yeah,
let's just ignore this competition completely. That's ridiculous and should never happen. And the punishment should have been harsher, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's an amazing, magical competition to this day.
It is the best, I think, on paper anyway, the best cup competition in the world. In terms of the fact that there's no seedings. You can literally, if you've got a team and it's set up and you've got a decent place to play and you pay your subs on time, anyone can set up a team and eventually enter the FA Cup, which is just incredible. All that being said, when you look about and let's look at Arsenal as an example of this, Robbie. The money that's generated by finishing in the top four and the prestige that's generated by playing in the Champions League and ultimately, going on for the Premier League title. Look, you have won it 2 years on the bounce. Been important for you guys, but how does it still rank really in terms for importance for the top sides?
It's still important. You know what I mean? Because it's one of there's not many trophies you can win now, right? So it's very important.
You can't win the Champions League.
Well, you get past Barca, you know what I mean? But listen, at the moment,
I didn't mean ever, to be fair.
I think everybody, all the teams in the league would look at it and say, league title first, Champions League, then the FA Cup is like third, isn't it? And when I was a kid, the FA Cup was considered by many sometimes even higher than even winning the league.
Yeah.
It had that.
It was the only live game on TV with a
kid. But I think it's all changed now. I think with the FA Cup as well, that a lot of big teams don't really take it seriously until they start getting to about the quarter-final.
Yeah.
So you'll see, even with Arsenal, who, we've won it 2 years in a row, but I bet you any money, come this weekend, you'll see like loads of players rested because we've got Liverpool the following week, and I think that Arsene Wenger will look at it and think that actually that Liverpool game is more important than the FA Cup. So there'll be lots of youngsters coming in. Loads of players will be rested. We're playing Sunderland. I think even they'll rest loads of players because they'll probably look at it and think, well, even if we beat Arsenal, we're going to win the FA Cup.
Yeah.
It's more important for us to stay in the league. And that is kind of devaluing it in a way. I think it's devalued earlier on in the competition, but as it starts to move, the competition starts to move on, then it gets better.
What about you, Pep? Because, obviously it's the best chance you've got at silverware, but you're in the semi-finals of the League Cup at the minute. That's as close as you've come. Is the FA Cup in the last 10 years or something? I'm genuinely not having a go.
Well, it's that.
But
it's
got to mean
this will
something.
be 21 years without a trophy for Everton if we don't win not in this season. So, and that was the last thing we won. And I think it's hugely important, and it's probably important in a way for all of us. Arsenal won it the last couple of years. That's got.
Would Wenger still be in
people
the
off
job
Wenger's back?
Yeah,
true.
If Liverpool to win it this season, Klopp won a trophy in his first year. That gives him something to build on. Probably same with. I know you're saying about the league, but
don't get me wrong.
If you won it again, it's like it would be. It get for us. The way I look at it is, if we were to win a trophy this season, it was the FA Cup. That would give the likes of Ross Barkley, John Stones. That would give them that feeling of winning something. Yeah. And I always remember like Alex Ferguson saying, is winning that first trophy. Showed the players what it was all about. Get them, even at Everton, we've interviewed players who said, getting to Wembley, playing in a cup final, winning a trophy, that gave us everything we needed to go on and win, a couple of championships and things like that, European trophy. That was the major thing. And so I think there's something in it for all of us, especially for us. I mean,
we're exactly the same because we've got numerous songs mocking this 20-year period without a thing. But there comes a point where we have to start looking at ourselves and being like, well, hang on, it's been like 4 years this season since we last won it. Oh, I know, but again, and then you're going back, how long are you going back to that? You're going back to like 2006 before we won a trophy prior to that, for a club that prides itself on winning silverware and being one of those teams that's there or thereabouts. We've not got the league. Yeah. We've got to keep something ticking over. So yeah, for me, I think the question for us is, which do we value? If you had to make a decision, and look, football's not mutually exclusive. You can win domestic trebles and you can win cup trebles. It's not been all that long since we did that. But the Europa League would rank higher for me than the FA Cup. Yeah. But,
because of the Champions League place.
Well, exactly. And this is the thing. The problem with the FA Cup is that I think that is, you see too many, there's too many times where championship teams get too close to it. And that's the magic of the cup, I guess. But then they're going into Europe, if they end up in Europe because of the way it works out or whatever, yeah. Where's the value? If it had a Champions League, I think
that's a bit snobbish, man. Come on. Why couldn't? What's wrong with him ending up in Europe?
No. But what I mean, there's nothing theoretically, because I said that's the magic of the cup, and I love that. But when you look at it in terms of the coefficients and all, you've got teams that are just going into Europe to get murdered and get
I don't like this coefficient thing, right? I mean, listen, if a team
because you're not finishing fourth anymore.
Yeah. No. Listen, even if it boiled down to that, I don't like this thing we keep going on about coefficients. Oh, if a team from the Championship got there, if they got there, they deserve to get there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I think we're being a bit snobbish when we start saying things like that.
I just don't think they deserve to be there, though.
Why not? If they've got to the
wins
final,
the FA Cup,
they've won the FA Cup. Why not?
Yeah, but it's when the team gets to the final. And
what I mean is that I don't think the team who wins the FA Cup deserves a Champions League place. Simple as that.
Not a Champions League place, but they in the Europa League. Why not?
Here's what I'd say. But I've been saying this for years. And if you wanted to shake up the domestic competitions in this country, give the fourth Champions League place to the FA Cup. What a cup competition you'd have.
That would improve it.
There's no chance a championship team would win it, and that would probably kill it in terms of like all the lower teams and all that.
Yeah, well done. You've just made the FA Cup another vehicle for the top 5 teams in the.
But imagine though, you know what I mean?
Then there would be
and
no
then
magic.
bring back and then forget that, and then bring back the Cup Winners' Cup.
Yeah. I think all you need to do in order to give the FA Cup its magic back is to give it the respect it deserves, and just not put fixtures around it. Every game, like Spurs are playing, I think, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that we're playing Leicester in the league 3 or 4 days after we play them. Yeah. And of course we're going to rest players in the FA Cup game because we have to beat Leicester at home.
Yeah.
So just that there should be a rule in place that no fixtures can be played around that FA Cup.
Well, have you seen the disgrace that does? We've got Exeter on Friday. The last train back from Exeter leaves at half-time. Basically.
And then we go back to this issue about fixtures and TV control and how important TV's become in the game. And that's another conversation altogether. But the problem isn't the clubs reacting to the FA Cup; it's the way the game's managed.
Well, we're Liverpool. Sorry, we're Liverpool left the position now. We're the 2-week period where we've just had the game at the weekend, and we've got Stoke in the League Cup semi-final on a Tuesday, followed by Exeter in the FA Cup on a Friday, Arsenal on the following Wednesday, and then Man United the weekend. There's like the 4 biggest games, not the 4 biggest, but 4 massive games in the space of 2. And everyone go, footballers, they get paid loads of money, yada, yada, yada. But ultimately, you've come off the back of a Christmas period. Which games are going to suffer? It's not going to be a League Cup semi-final. It's clear because you're 2 games away from Wembley.
My heart breaks for you because we've got Manchester City 3 times in the next 4 weeks and Chelsea away. So stick that up your fucking arse.
Who have you got in the FA Cup?
Dagenham.
Are you going to rest players for Dagenham? Of course you're going to rest players for Dagenham.
Probably.
But this is the point of the FA Cup.
What if we hadn't had, what if we'd had, the mighty Woking or someone like that?
You know the thing that
That's not the point though. That if we were playing a Premier League team, that the game would be devalued simply because of all the games.
I don't think. Yeah, maybe, but I think it's probably because I don't know. I would surmise that if you're playing a bigger team, you've got no choice but to play your best players in those bigger games.
Paul,
that might be an exception.
The thing that winds me up the most about the FA Cup, and the thing is, the FA Cup is a great. I've been there the last 2 years. It's been absolutely fantastic going to Wembley and everything, right? Did you get even clubs in the Championship resting players.
Yeah,
I mean,
It goes back to it's not
it's
terrible. It's
terrible,
not their
you know?
fault. It isn't the club's
all
fault.
cash,
It's
innit?
because money's become so important in the game.
Yeah.
They have to, because the difference between getting to maybe the 5th round in the FA Cup and getting promoted into the Premier League is worth 80 million.
And it's the same reason why Sunderland will play their under-9s, because what would winning the FA Cup do for them if they get relegated this season?
Well,
what would be the point?
like you said,
they're going to lose out on about £150 million for a piece of tin.
Like when Wigan won it, innit? Wigan won it.
Oh, exactly.
Wigan won it,
Hey,
and
listen,
then they went down.
did good for Martinez though, didn't
Yeah,
he?
half of our squad was in that team.
Pump loads of money into the FA Cup. That's
Or,
what
or like,
though,
or,
can
you know,
you?
it's
No,
like,
they can't.
I
No
think,
value in it.
it's like you said though.
That's the only way to save it.
Give it, I don't know if it was you or you said it right, give that Champions League place to the FA Cup. And I think then all of a sudden, people would start taking it a hell of a lot more serious.
The problem with the FA Cup is, the main problem is that money is the problem. And that's because you can't sell it abroad, because a lot of the games go to replays and they end up getting played on like Tuesday nights, and then those Tuesday nights, if you're in America, suddenly become Tuesday afternoons. And, you know, there's no value in the TV for someone to come along and buy it in a big chunk. So there's no money in it from that point of view. So ultimately that's going to be the problem. Okay, it's all right saying that's Saturday in May and having it at 5:30. That's going to attract a worldwide market, but are people really going to be bothered if it hasn't captured the imagination all season?
This is the problem, though. I think when it comes back to it, and my earliest footballing memories are through that competition. You know, like, and it's daft, and I'm going to get all sentimental for a moment, but the FA and they need to. There shouldn't be a monetary value placed on being a young kid
The Emirates
and going
FA
to
Cup.
see. Well, exactly, yeah. But going to like, I remember being taken to Wembley in '92 when we beat Sunderland. And and the journey and the experience and getting to see the cup being lifted, and to be honest, spending a lot of the time looking at revolving sponsor boards, Super Nintendo. But
is that the other thing as well, that having that semi-final
at
Wembley as well?
Yeah.
Again, that is
Absolute
another
piss
thing
take,
that I don't like.
I just really miss Stuart Hall doing it to knockout. But that's another story completely. Talking about the FA Cup.
Yeah, that wasn't even a show, was it? That was just what he did beforehand. So. But but you're right. You're dead right on that. It's being missed. The cup. I think the cup is being massively mismanaged, and there are, without taking a drastic step and giving it the Champions League players, I think there are things that you can do. It can be scheduled better. Yeah. You can give the semi-finals
the NFL
back to Villa Park.
The NFL will save it.
Yeah.
Because of the money they put into Wembley, basically.
Well, that's it. But look at it in terms, because I always go back, and it's a separate conversation. We're going well over time on this, but. I think about like when England were touring around the country when they didn't have a national stadium. The only time I've ever seen England play in the flesh was when they played at Anfield, they played Paraguay, and that opened it up to a different generation and different people all over the place. And you could play the FA Cup semi-finals at big grounds around the country and make it more open. But that talk about devaluing it, like we were so, and this is our fault, but when we played the Villa semi-final, it was the team as well as the players, but kind of been there and done this and seen this. You know what I mean? Exactly.
By Villa.
Well, exactly. But
like Tim Sherwood.
Great Tottenham stories about playing Wolves at Highbury. And, just...
The semi-final when we played you guys, I think it was at Man United, wasn't it?
I don't remember that one.
I didn't think you
Man
would.
United and Liverpool played a semi-final at Goodison. Can you imagine how that, there was the famous story about Liverpool playing Chelsea at Old Trafford,
rather than
smashing
going
it
to
up.
Wembley. Yeah.
Isn't that one of the major problems? Playing at neutral.
That might be an issue. But in proper neutral venue, like, no one's got a problem with Villa Park, have they, apart from...
Oh, because it'd be a championship ground then.
But there's going to be a proper stadium in London as well, next to Wembley.
Oh yeah, that's all. We need more semi-finals in London.
What I'm just saying is going to be finally a decent stadium.
The Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, that one. That one.
The bowling. Anyway, let us know your thoughts on how to... you might actually think the FA Cup's amazing, doesn't need changing. If so, defend it. Go mental in the comments below. Stand up for your FA Cup, your Emirates FA Cup, or whatever the hell it's called this season.
The Emirates FA Cup. Who's won it the last couple of years?
Yeah, that's funny.
That's weird, that isn't it?
It's written.
Yeah. So, and if you want to see improvements made to the Cup, what do you think can be done to help bring back the value to the competition? Thoughts in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up. Check out the rest of the content. We've had a little bit of a January transfer window theme running throughout them, so go and check them out. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you back here for more Social Club next week.